Hi everyone, welcome to science class. This is the fourth video of electricity chapter. Dear students, let us have some recap of last video. In last video, people have learned the important concept that is Ohm's law. Remember students, potential difference and current, they both are two faces of a single coin. Based on that, Ohm has given his law, and that is the potential difference V across the ends of a given metallic wire in an electric circuit is directly proportional to the current flowing through it, provided its temperature remains same. That is, V is directly proportional to I, and the formula is V is equal to IR. Resistance. You have learned about its definition, that is, property of a conductor to resist the flow of charges through it, and its SI unit is ohm. After that, even I taught about 1 ohm. The definition is, if potential difference is 1 volt across the ends of a conductor and the current through it is 1 amp, then the resistance of a conductor is 1 ohm. Now, let us understand new topic. In that, the first one, dependence of current on resistance. For that, I have taken three different types of conductors, that is a nichrome wire, a torch bulb, 10-watt bulb. You may think these are the conductor. Yes, in this we are using conductors, so I can even use these as a conductors or any electric device. Along with that, I have taken an ammeter, a plug key and some connecting wires. Set up the circuit by connecting 4 dry cells of 1.5 volt each in a series with the ammeter, leaving a gap XY. Observe circuit carefully where you can see the gap XY. Now complete the circuit by connecting these conductors one by one. First I have chosen the nichrome wire in XY gap. Plug the key and note down the ammeter reading in a table and analyze after connecting the next what will happen. Yeah, observe the below table children, where when we have taken nichrome wire ammeter reading, we have taken X. I mean to say that let us assume the value of ammeter reading as X. Now replace the nichrome wire in the gap with a torch bulb in the circuit and find the current through it, measuring the readings of the ammeter. Let us assume that as reading Y. Observe the second column where you are getting torch bulb and its reading is Y. Now replace this torch bulb with the 10-watt bulb in the gap XY. Note down the ammeter reading and compare that with the previous ammeter reading. Observe the table children. We will assume 10-watt bulb reading as Z. X, Y, Z. These three are ammeter reading for different material which we have used in nichrome, torch, bulb and 10-watt bulb. All the three readings are different. From this, what we can conclude is current depends on nature of material. If you are using copper, if you are using different types of alloys, according to that you are going to get flow of current in a conductor. Let us have some conclusion from previous activity which helps you people to understand further more concepts. The first conclusion is that from this activity we observed that the current is different for different components. Certain components offer an easy path for the flow of electric current while the other resist the flow. Here, easy path for the flow of current means we are talking about a conductor, that is good conductor, while the other resist the flow of current means we are talking about poor conductor. To understand much more about it, let us have a previous knowledge which you have learned, that is, motion of electron in a circuit constitutes an electric current. The electron, however, are not completely free to move within a conductor. This is what I taught you people last class. Whereas electrons are restrained by the attraction of the atoms among which they move. The statement of electrons are restrained by the attraction means motion of electrons are controlled by the attraction of the atoms among which they move. Thus, motion of electrons through a conductor is retarded by its resistance. Here, the resistance of a conductor decides how much amount of current flows through a conductor. Based on this, different components are categorized into different groups. Let us see the first one. A component of a given size that offers a low resistance is called a good conductor. For this, examples are copper, aluminium, or a different types of metals. The second one, a conductor having some appreciable resistance is called a resistor. Here, examples are nichrome wire, tungsten, or almost all alloys are having appreciable resistance. So, they are known as resistors. A third one, a component of identical size that offers a higher resistance is called a poor conductor. Some examples are mica, Teflon, etc. And the last one is an insulator of the same size offers even a higher resistance. The examples are wood, paper, plastic, ceramics, etc. Factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends. Let us understand what are those factors on which this resistance depends. For that, we need to do a small activity where we have taken four different types of wire. The first wire is a nichrome wire of length L and cross-section area A. And the second nichrome wire is length 2L and cross-section area is A. Third nichrome wire whose length is L but the cross-section area is double, that is 2A. And the fourth wire, not nichrome, copper. Let us understand this activity by connecting these four. Complete an electric circuit consisting a cell, an ammeter, a nichrome wire of a length L and plug the key as shown in the figure. Now, when you plug the key, note down the current reading from the ammeter in a table. Replace the nichrome wire by another nichrome wire of same thickness but the length is 2L, the second wire I am talking about. And now note down the ammeter reading in the table. Now replace the second wire by third wire, that is thicker nichrome wire of the same length L and the cross section area is doubled, that is 2A. Again note down the current from the ammeter in a table. Now replace the third wire with the copper wire of the length L and cross section area A and note down the ammeter reading. Notice the difference in the current in all these cases. Let us analyze from the table. Observe the table. First nichrome wire whose length L and the cross section area A, let us assume ammeter reading as 2. When we connect the second wire whose length is 2L and the cross section area is A, ammeter reading is only 1 amp. What did you observe? The current is decreased when the length is increased. When length is doubled, current gets halved. Third nichrome wire whose length is L and the cross section area is double. That time we can notice the ammeter reading as 4. That is almost doubled comparatively the first nichrome wire. And the last one where completely nature of material is changed. Instead of a nichrome wire, if we connect copper wire, we get some other reading. Let us assume that as 5.3 and have a conclusion, and the conclusion is the first conclusion from the previous activity is it is observed that ammeter reading decreases to 1/2 when the length of wire is doubled. The second conclusion is the ammeter reading is increased when a thick wire of some material and of the same length is used in the circuit. And the third conclusion is a change in ammeter reading is observed when a wire of different material of the same length and same area of cross section is used. Let us understand based on this conclusion the next concept. On applying Ohm's law, we observe that resistance of a conductor depends on its length, on its area of cross section, and on the nature of its material. So, based on this conclusion, we can write the resistance of conductor is directly proportional to its length L and inversely proportional to the area of cross section A. That is, R is directly proportional to L, R is proportional to 1 by A. When we join together, we can write R is proportional to L by A, or R is equal to rho L by A. When you remove proportionality sign, we put a constant. So, R is equal to rho L by A. From that equation, when I write rho is equal to, so the value is rho is equal to RA by L, and substitute the units for resistance and area as well as length, you will get the SI unit for rho as ohm meter, where rho is a constant of proportionality and even it is known as electrical resistivity of a material of the conductor. Resistivity is actually a proportionality of constant. Let us understand the exact meaning of resistivity. Resistivity of the material is the resistance offered to the current flow by a conductor of unit length having unit cross section area. Therefore, the SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter. It is a characteristic property of the material which depends on unit length and unit cross section area. That is the reason resistivity of all material is constant. Resistivity of material will never change. There are some examples given. Let us see beside table and understand the concept which I am going to tell you now. The first point, that is, the metals and alloys have very low resistivity in the range of 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meter to the 10 to the power minus 6 ohm meter. And they are good conductors of electricity. In the table you can observe from silver to manganese, these are given resistivity value as 10 to the power minus 6 to 10 to the power minus 8 range, and those are categorized under conductors. Insulators like rubber and glass have resistivity of the order 10 to the power 12 to 10 to the power 17 ohm meter. You can observe in the table insulators like glass, hard rubber and all has kept under the resistivity of the column, I mean to say that order 10 to the power 12 to 10 to the power 17 ohm meter, as well as alloys have kept between insulators and conductors whose order is of 10 to the power minus 6. Both the resistance and the resistivity of a material vary with temperature. So observe table clearly and understand about resistivity of conductors, alloys, insulators separately. Have you observed the table clearly, children? Because the table reveals that the resistivity of an alloy is generally higher than that of its constituent metals. Because of its high resistivity, alloys are very special and they do not oxidize readily at high temperature. For this reason, they are commonly used in electrical heating devices like electric iron, toaster, etc. Now observe tungsten in the table. Tungsten is also used almost exclusive for filament of its bulb, electric bulb, because of its high resistivity. And the next is copper and aluminium, whose resistivity is very less. So generally they are used in electrical transmission lines. So children, in this video, you people have learned dependence of current on resistance and the factors on which the resistance depends, and the new physical quantity, that is resistivity, and its SI unit, as well as how resistivity decides about the uses of different types of metals and alloys as well as insulators. Bye, take care and ready for doing the worksheet. Worksheet 3, which has 5 questions. First one, define resistance. Second one, what are the factors on which resistance depends? Third one, will current flow more easily through a thick wire or a thin wire of the same material when connected to the same source, and why? And the fourth one, why are coils of electric toasters and electric irons made of an alloy rather than a pure metal? And the fifth one, what is the SI unit of resistivity? This is about worksheet 3. But in third video, worksheet 2, question number 3 was a doubt for few children. I have solved it. So observe the solution. Students, this is worksheet number 2, question number 3. The solution you wanted, so I have given that. See the values of current and potential difference. Plot the graph. Observe the graph. I have drawn the graph. You will get a linear graph, a straight line which is passing through origin, and have drawn the slope. That slope is nothing but a resistance. I have substituted the value of y-intercept, x-intercept for the slope, that is 4 minus 2 divided by 0.4 minus 0.2, and the value will be 2 divided by 0.2, and when you solve you will get 10 ohm. So I hope you understood. All the best. See you in next video.